You read the title, I said it, and now we're here. Shonen anime are by far some of the most popular anime in the world, and in a way has defined anime to be as popular as it is now. The well-known big three are all shonen anime. Yet if you say that you like a semi-popular current shonen anime, it immediately gets trashed on. A great example of this comes from Demon Slayer. I really like Demon Slayer. I think it's a very nice anime that has heartfelt moments and some well-written characters throughout the show. Though there are thousands of people who go around yell out, "Animation carries, it's boring, it's generic." This is a very, very common thing to see in Demon Slayer in particular, since it's currently an extremely popular shonen. Though Demon Slayer isn't the only culprit of this sort of situation. A bunch of super popular shonen are hated on by the same groups of people claiming, again, that they're all generic. All shonen anime are the same, in the action sense. The main character is a super powerful good guy who encounters a great evil. This great evil is even more powerful than the main character, but the main character goes through this big training session, getting stronger and stronger, defeating smaller baddies on the way, and having lots and lots of jokes. And then, the big bad guy gets defeated after a new power-up the main character gets that makes them way too overpowered. Then, in Season 2, the next even stronger, bigger baddie shows up, and the whole process cycles anew. After hearing this formula, it feels very familiar, doesn't it? So what? Are they alright? Are all shonen anime just the same generic, boring anime that span across everything? Absolutely not. Shonen anime are not defined only by this case and logic. Yes, there are many that do follow this formula, as it's an easy way to progress a story, but it by itself doesn't make a shonen bad or boring. For the most part, at least. Bounce arc. Take, for example, a small little, barely ever known anime. You've never heard it before, more than likely. Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is probably the biggest and most well-known shonen anime there is, and more than likely will ever be. Dragon Ball very much uses this formula to a T. Goku encounters a strong enemy, Frieza, trains, becomes stronger, fights him, gets Super Saiyan, beats Frieza, saves the day. He has filler, then encounters an even bigger, stronger baddie, the androids in Cell. He gets stronger with the sun, but this time his son gets the bigger, badder power-up with the very cleverly named Super Saiyan 2. They beat Cell, saves the day, yada yada yada. 18 years later, Goku gets his latest power-up, Ultra Instinct. Literally follows every shonen trope to man itself. This being the case, the haters are completely right. And this video's over and all done. No need to go on. Thanks for watching. See you next time. No, but actually, Dragon Ball is still insanely popular, despite their newest movie blowing it in the box office. Ugh. Why would it be so popular if the haters are seemingly right? It's because that though the formula is overused and generic, it's still a formula that can be used extremely well. Dragon Ball Z is the pinnacle of the formula, but they didn't just make all the characters no-note strong boys that have no personality. Most of the time, these haters are too busy looking into nothing but to hate on it, so they completely miss the things that make those generic plots enjoyable. Goku is a lovable goofball who loves food and is an absolutely terrible father. His polar opposite, the competitive reserved Vegeta, is an enemy at first, but becomes an ally when we see him open up more and more to be likable. We also have Krillin, Bulma, Gohan, Trunks, Piccolo, all very lovable characters that people grew up watching. They all have nice interactions that make viewers enjoy them and make them want to see more. Just because people know exactly how the story is going to wind up doesn't make the story boring. It's the process of getting to that conclusion is what makes it all really fun to watch. There's another great example of this in Demon Slayer. Again, people say this very, very frequently for this series in particular, that animation carries. Not all shonen anime have this problem in particular, but it is thrown around a lot for a lot of different shonen. For Demon Slayer though, it irks me a little. Demon Slayer is one of my favorite anime of all time. I've got 2 big character tattoos even, of characters from the show, because I adore it so much. I will even agree that the story itself is fairly generic, and follows the shonen formula pretty closely. but what it doesn't follow very closely is in its character developments. Except for Tanjiro. I mean, he is generic shonen protag 101. It's the side characters, like the Hashira, Zenitsu, Inosuke, hell, even the demons are all very well written characters that have their own developments, emotions, motives, all expanded upon in the anime. What draws me into anime in particular is the character development and character writing, if you couldn't tell from my last videos already. Demon Slayer scratches that part of my brain I can't reach because their characters are well written. They have many leaning tendencies to be on the basic sides, but Demon Slayer doesn't bombard you with the basicness of it, and I'm not the only one that sees this. Demon Slayer is crazy popular despite all the hate it gets from that group. To have so many people like an anime in particular, it can't just have one thing going for it. Amazing animation can only go so far. It can't distract from the story all the time. The show will eventually leak out its blandness and it wouldn't be as very popular or well rated. Funny enough, the anime in most cases need to be pretty good to be popular. There's also another part that irks me a bit about people saying that all shonen anime are bad. I don't fully believe that y'all know what anime are shonen or not. Did you know that Beastars is shonen? Did you know that Psyche K is shonen? My all-time favorite anime Horimiya is shonen, for God's sake. I didn't even know that until researching for this script. I don't hear these same complaints when it comes to these anime, though different in their own senses. Shonen is not one defined genre that you can wrap around the same complaint and hit everything. Shonen has such a wide variety of subjects that it tackles and genres that it tackles. It truly makes it unfair to lump them all together to call them bad. I do want to say a big however to slap across this entire video though. There are plenty of valid complaints that do get hit with shonen anime. One complaint in particular is the use of filler episodes. Filler episodes are episodes between main story plotlines or story arcs that are usually just lighthearted and not really important to the story at all. I think these sorts of episodes are vital to the development of characters and story progression. But, and it's certainly a big but, this is only the case if filler is done correctly. For example, One Piece. One Piece has a lot of filler in its over 1,000 episode runtime. Though, in most cases, it doesn't even feel like filler. You watch these episodes that happen between main story plotlines, and they're mostly fun little character progressors to make you love the character even more, or some episodes drive vital backstory or previous info to a character, driving the progression in people's perspectives. That is filler done right. It should make people happy to watch it, and want to watch more to see what else the characters they just fell more in love with get into. But there's also very bad filler. Filler that doesn't do anything but just take time and expand the runtime the series has. An example of this is, again, the Bounce arc from Bleach. The Bounce arc in Bleach is fairly infamous. Going to say it's one of Bleach's worst arcs. It truly is terrible, with its fights being boring, the villains of the arc were boring and meaningless, the characters didn't develop practically at all throughout, and on top of that, it was 46 episodes long in a row. There is practically no reason for it to be that long. They could have cut it down to a third of its length and that would still be way too long for that arc. The filler just felt like a chore to chunk through. It wasn't fun to watch at all. It made me even stop watching Bleach when I was first watching it, and I had to pick it up much later because I just didn't want to go back and chunk through more of that Bounce arc. Some of the villains kinda had interesting powers, but ultimately it just floundered under its own weight. A Bleach YouTuber by the name of Alex here does a very short but very good explanation about this arc, and I'll put the link for it in the description. Go check it out. Shonen is very popular, and rightfully so. It's a pinnacle of anime in general, and has had a mainstay in people's minds and hearts for a very long time. Many people grew up with shonen anime, and watching those characters grow from those anime even until now in some cases. While some can be boring, it's unfair to lump them all together like that. Shonen is a staple, and it's here to stay. Each hopefully just as good and generic as the last.